Assassin's Creed has took us to many places: the golden age of piracy in the Caribbean, Renaissance Italy, and even the Viking Age, and way more interesting eras. So I thought about some time periods that may be great for the series to do. My name is Luke. Now let's get into these historical time periods. Really quickly, since none of these settings have been done in the series, or they may have been done very differently with Assassin's Creed Chronicles, I'll occasionally use AI to generate a picture of something I'm trying to describe to you. Shouldn't be too bad though. Here we go. Setting 1, World War 1. Now, potential plot is World War 1 started because Franz Ferdinand was assassinated by a Serbian nationalist, but maybe in this game we're like a Templar who assassinates him, and then we realize the mistake that we caused World War 1, so we fall into a depressing state and then join the assassins and help the assassins take out the Templars. As for where it would be set, probably just set in major cities of World War 1, like maybe we do some missions in Berlin, that'd be pretty cool. And maybe we even participate in famous battles like the Battle of Verdun or the Battle of the Somme. Kinda like how we got to fight in the Battle of Leipzig and Concord in AC3. Maybe we get to do that before World War 1, because being able to see World War 1 trench warfare in an Assassin's Creed game would be pretty cool. And some weapons that we could maybe use. An example would be a trench club. Here's a picture. An entrenching tool, not for digging, but if I'm correct, some soldiers would use this as a melee tool in close combat, and of course a pistol and maybe a bolt-action rifle, as that was the standard weapon of the time. So, for context, the Russian Revolution was when the people of Russia overthrew the Tsar / the king, pretty much, or the emperor, whatever you want to call it, and the old government collapsed, and the communists, led by Lenin, took control, creating the Soviet Union. And before you say, I know there's Assassin's Creed Chronicles Russia and the Russian Revolution, but that doesn't really count because it's not very known, and it's one of those 2D games. This would be a 3D game, and it would probably feel more like a classic AC game than one of the newer RPG-style games. This would be about in 1917 to 1922, and we could visit cities like St. Petersburg and Moscow, and these cities might have some good parkour and stealth opportunities, and maybe, like in Assassin's Creed 3, we can, like, start riots in the street. Maybe we can do that with this, too, in, like, Moscow. And really quickly, the reason I said the Russian Civil War, like at that little beginning part of the setting, it's because the Civil War was different. The Russian Revolution actually caused the Civil War, and the Russian Civil War was between communists, which would be the Red Army, and then the White Army, which the White Army consisted of conservatives, monarchists, and liberals. And the Civil War was way more violent than the Revolution. Again, this would take place 1917 to 1922, and when the Civil War ended, I assume we'd maybe leave or something, because assuming we're an assassin and not a Templar, I don't think the assassins would be too sympathetic to the Communist or White Army cause, because according to Google, the assassins believe in human freedom, free will, and individual self-governance. And the Communists don't really fulfill this, and in the White Army it consists of monarchist sympathizers that also don't really fulfill this. So maybe we don't only take out Templars, we try and weaken both sides, because I don't think the assassins would really line up with these goals. And maybe we even get to see the execution of Tsar Nicholas II. If you don't know, if I'm correct, a bunch of communist / Bolshevik soldiers led his family and him into a basement, and they shot him. It was like in the middle of the night. And it's unclear if it was ordered by Lenin, but the weapons here would be very similar to the World War I game, because this was only, like 1917, World War I was still going on. That puts in perspective, the weapons would probably be very similar. Setting 3, the fall of Constantinople. Now, I know we had AC Revelations that took place in the 1500s with the Ezio trilogy, but that actually wasn't the fall of Constantinople. In that game, the Ottomans had controlled it for many years. But in this game, maybe we're an assassin in the big city, and I think participating in the siege in some way, or even seeing it happen, would be pretty cool in an AC game. And this was in 1453, so there's no automatic weapons. Some weapons that might be used are normal bows, crossbows. On the Ottoman side, they would fire cannons at the wall. And also, I'm not too sure how to pronounce this. I think it's called a kilji, or something. It's a sword of some sort here on screen. Kilji? I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong, but I think this would be good for an AC game. So, this was the golden age of Amsterdam. This would be amazing parkour-wise, I think, as it was a huge city. For example, I feel like the parkour, the layout of the buildings would probably be somewhat similar to, AC3 in, Boston. Not too sure, but it just for, the closest thing that we may have to what the buildings will look like and stuff. This would provide a lot of parkour opportunities and a lot of social stealth with the markets and crowds you could blend into. And of course, I think it would feel more like a classic AC game than, more of a classic AC game than an RPG style game. And also, maybe we don't even only go to Amsterdam. Maybe we go across the Netherlands in this golden age, or maybe we even go to some of the colonies. And maybe the Templars in this game, assuming we're an assassin, because I guess it could be like a Shay Cormac from Rogue situation where we play as a Templar. But it'd be cool if they controlled major aspects of life there. They weren't only just trying to take control and we had to stop them. The weapons that would be used would be like muskets. This would work like in the OG Black Flag and AC3, where you just pick them up every now and then from guards. There'd be pikes, flintlocks, and swords. But up for this video, but if you want to see more, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video.